Hey everybody, it's Zach again at newtotorah.com. I want to come in and do a video for you today. I want to introduce to you a very amazing couple. These are the Zimmers. It's David and Charity Zimmer, and they are missionaries for Uganda. And I'm really looking forward to interviewing them for you today and let you get to know them and know their story, and even give you some information on how to contact them if you want to participate in what they're doing going forward. So let me just introduce you to David and Charity. Welcome to the New to Torah channel, and I can't wait for people to get to know you.
Thanks, Zach. We're glad to be here.
Okay. So what I want to do first is kind of just go through your story, and I want you to first tell us how you guys met, and then we'll go on from there.
We met about 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago, last May, or in May. It was 5 years then. We actually met on eHarmony. I was raised in the church and had grown up and gone to Bible college, and actually had dedicated my life to a full-time ministry, and was thinking I was on that path. And then when my first wife walked away from the Lord and our marriage, and I was just kind of at that point left wondering, God, I dedicated my life to you. This is what I got. I don't know. But, through his word, he revealed to me that, I've been faithful to you. You continue to be faithful to me. And after the breakup of my first marriage, after a while, I just decided that I wanted to find a mate that actually wanted to serve the Lord. So I built an eHarmony profile and actually put in there, I am looking for someone to do full-time ministry with. I am not looking for someone to date or just a wife, but a ministry is my option. I feel called to missions. I think I actually I feel called to missions, and put that in there in my profile, and I just let it out there and let Yahweh just direct it.
Okay, now at this point, were you Torah? Had you found Torah yet?
No, I was still raised. I was still attending a Baptist church and being faithful to what I knew.
Okay, so you came from the Baptist background. Now, Charity, tell us your background and how you got to the eHarmony thing.
I was raised Nazarene, and then raised our girls in the Assemblies of God Church. My husband was killed, had been married 30 years. He was killed in a boating accident. And a few years into a lot of grief and pain, my middle daughter said, Mom, you really need to find a husband. And actually, my oldest daughter, like even a month or so after, we were walking through Walmart, and she said, we need to find you a husband. We need to find you a husband now. We just need to find you a husband. And I said, not at Walmart. So anyway, a few years later, then my daughter talked me into putting up going on eHarmony. And I said, I will do it under the condition that I get to write the profile and put on it what I want to put. And she said, well, of course. And so I wrote that I was looking for a husband. I was not looking to date anybody, but that I wanted to be in full-time ministry with my husband, and that I was called to missions. And she read it, and she goes, you realize no one is going to call you. But Yahweh knew better. So then David called. Yeah,
I saw that link, and or I got that notice in my Facebook or in my eHarmony profile. And we actually ended up discovering that we only lived about 20 minutes away, but simply because of the denominational circles that we ran in, we would have never had met. Our paths probably would have never crossed, except for that, Yahweh directing us to use eHarmony.
Very cool, very cool. So 20 minutes apart, and both of you looking for missions, and your daughter's like, Mom, there's no way you're ever going to get a response, and oh, ye of little faith. Oh, great. Well, cool. Awesome. So now you guys are together, and tell them about the whole, you guys didn't, tell them what, 90 days? Tell them.
Yeah. From we started conversing back and forth through email and then some phone calls, but pretty much from the day we first met physically till the day we were married, it was 90 days. Maybe
90 days.
Yeah.
Yes, my daughter informed me of that the day of the wedding. She goes, it's been 90 days. Yeah.
But we were at a point in our life when we knew what we wanted, where we were going, and we knew that God had obviously brought us together. So why fight it and why wait?
Exactly. That's amazing. Amazing. So, all right, now you're married and you both want to do missions. And so tell me about Torah. You guys get Torah. Where did that come in?
Well, as we're just pursuing missions, and we found an organization that we felt comfortable with, Missionary Ventures International, and we started pursuing missions with them, and they were giving us some directions on get some education, get some cultural training, take some classes while you're preparing and while you're trying to raise support. And one of the things we did was take a class called World Perspectives in Christian Movement. And the first class that we went to, the guy basically said, you think the gospel starts in Matthew 28, or the Great Commission starts in Matthew 28. But really, we're told to take the gospel, and the gospel starts way back when Abraham got his covenant with Yahweh. And even the Apostle Paul calls that part of the gospel. And just through all of that, and then discovering other things, through probably a series of 4 years, that Yahweh just opened our eyes up to the truth of the entire scriptures.
Evidently, we're a little slow. It took 4 years.
So very cool. And then you got to know some friends of ours, some mutual friends of ours, right? You want to go into that?
Yeah. Well, our daughter and son-in-law began fellowshipping with a group up in northern India, or in central Indiana, in Noblesville, just north of Indianapolis. And we started at first, we did what most denominational Christians do when they're faced with this. We pushed back and said, no, that's ridiculous. That's not required of me. But we had always wanted to know, let the Spirit lead us, and we tried to make sure that our hearts were focused on pleasing Him. And we started just going to their fellowship with them, listening to what they were saying, and just through series of time and things and truth that was revealed to us through His Word, and through one of the real things that really opened my eyes up was just studying the feasts themselves and seeing the prophetic picture in the feast in the spring that have already been fulfilled, and then the future feast in the fall that are yet to be revealed, and just seeing God's timetable just laid out right there, and knowing that these things are still they're still something for us to be doing.
Yeah, they're still relevant.
Very. The neat thing was that being with my daughter and her husband and the rest of the fellowship there was just such a genuineness to them, and you could just see their heart was to please the Father, and my daughter, if she said it once, she must have said it 100 times. I want to love the Father like He wants me to love Him. Mm-hmm. And I saw that play out, and I guess that was very, very key, very, very key for us.
And I think one of the things that I get the most of when I talk to people like you who are parents, and see, I think there's a lot of people out there who their children have gotten Torah, and their parents are slow to come on board, or they're very much pushing back. And, you described, Charity, some of the pushback. You were like a mom who was going through a nervous breakdown at first. You said, just having to deal with your daughter. She's going off the rails. And, tell me about that. Because, that's something I think a lot of the audience can relate to, because they themselves have gone through that, either in the position of your daughter or in the position of you, the mom.
Mm-hmm. It was every decision I made raising my girls was always based on, is this eternal? How does this affect eternity? And I made decisions based on that, because I was a little different than David. I was under the teaching that that, one little slip up and you're in hell. So, and I come to realize that that's not quite the way it is, but that was my fear. So when she presented this to me, I honestly thought with everything in me that not only was she going to go to hell, but she was taking my grandkids there too. And it was way more than I could handle. I literally went off the deep end, and crazy. I was that crazy mom that people have to deal with. And I guess that the reason I appreciate the way she handled it in just showing love to me, but letting me see the love she had for Yahweh and that sincereness. And there was never well, I have to stay away from you because you don't believe like this, and or anything. It was just the genuineness. And there have been a few people that I've talked to that have said, well, our mom doesn't want to have anything to do with us. She thinks we're, are gone off the deep end. And I always say to them, just hang in there with you. She is, your parents are reacting out of fear for your well-being, your spiritual well-being. And I would say that that's the case 90% of the time. And it's a lack of understanding. And if you just live consistently in front of them and don't shut them out, that will win them, and that will allow Yahweh to open their eyes to what the truth is.
And that's exactly,
that's some of the best. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's exactly how it has to happen. It has to be Yahweh opening their eyes, because I've read so many posts and people's comments about, well, just tell them to read Torah. Just tell them to read Torah. I did that. I'm sorry. I read the Old Testament for 45 years. I've read it. But when you're starting off with the preconceived idea that the Old Testament is nice history stories that may be teaching us a lesson or two, but it's really not for us, it has to be Yahweh opening their eyes to be able to see that stuff is true and it's relevant and it's applicable in our life today.
Right. I think that was really good advice, Charity, when you're talking about the whole give them the time, and going at them and attacking them and shutting them out is not going to be the way you get any fruit. And I think there's a lot of people out there today who are really eager or willing to go on the attack and just shut out people who don't see it right away, instead of giving them patience, giving them prayer, and then giving them time for the Spirit to work. Because really what it comes down to, I told you before when I talked to you yesterday, was that I have not seen one person come to the knowledge of Torah, who didn't first humbly get on their knees and ask the Father to reveal truth to them. If there's something more, Father, you get on your knees and you ask, Father, reveal it to me. I want to see your wisdom. I want to know what you know. And it's usually at that point when the Father says, okay, I'll show you. And so sometimes you just have to give the people the space they need to get to that point, instead of blocking them out or attacking them, which I think some people are so quick to do today.
Mm-hmm.
And in one regards, though, it's to us, the light bulb has come on, and it seems so obvious. It's kind of hard to say, well, how do they not see it? We're excited about this knowledge. We're excited about the truth, and we want to share it. How are you not getting it? It seems to make so much sense. But again, until that light bulb is opened up in their mind, it doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess I relate it back to when we were all, in the Christian church, and we were wanting to witness to unbelievers. We didn't do that by ostracizing them, but we loved them, and we created in our life something that they would desire to have, and that's what we saw in the fellowship that we were going to. We desired to have what they had, and so we studied to find out what that was and what that meant.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So now you've come into this understanding of Torah. You went to this fellowship up in Indiana, and I think you said before you went there to set them straight, and lo and behold, they kind of set you on. They set you on a path you weren't expecting. Correct?
Yeah, we started going to fellowship so we could bring a little logic to their discussion, and really pretty quickly decided that, what they're saying makes sense.
Very neat. So, all right, you're where you're at now, and so let's go ahead and keep progressing down this storyline we got going. Now, tell me about Uganda and missions. Where do you go from here? What's happening now in your life?
Well, in 2011, Charity and I had an opportunity to take a mission trip to Uganda, and while we were on that trip, Yahweh obviously revealed to us that, we both had a heart for missions, but not only a heart for missions, but this people in this place in this time is where we were supposed to be. God had called us to the field of Uganda, and we were both overcome with just an obvious feeling while we were standing up on stage. Charity was giving her testimony. I was getting ready to give a gospel presentation, and we were having this open air crusade, and we just both were overcome with the feeling that this is the people, this is where I've called you. So we came back from that trip and we said, okay, we know where we're supposed to be. Let's start down that path. And we started raising our support, and we've things just have not progressed as fast as we thought they should. In our timetable, we'd have been there 6 months after we got back. It's like this is God. This is obviously God ordained. So, but He knew that He had something for us to learn and some place to take us first. So now we're faced with, okay, how well does we want to not just take Jesus to the nations. We want to take the entire gospel, the whole Word of God, the complete revelation that He gave us. And that's usually a message that doesn't play out very well in most denominational churches. So,
right.
There has to be people who think like we do now, who still have a heart for missions, that are looking for an opportunity to take the whole gospel to the nations, and how can they help us? And it not just in finances, but obviously in prayer. But we also have an opportunity for people to come to Uganda with us and serve side by side on a mission trip, just like we did when we went there. So,
okay,
our Facebook page. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say also, talk about the mission area, the organization, because a lot of people in the audience are familiar with different mission organizations that are out there, and even my wife and her family have spent. My father-in-law and mother-in-law spent 30 years with Wycliffe Bible translators, and that's where I met my wife, was at Wycliffe, their headquarters, when I was going to college in Orlando. And so there's lots of different missionary organizations that are out there, and people are familiar with a lot of them. So tell everyone who you're associated with and who's helping you get organized for this.
Our mission agency is called Missionary Ventures International, and they're actually based out of Orlando, Florida. But they believe that our role as missionaries is to go help nationals with what they need to do. We're not going over there to plant a church. We're not going over there to start a ministry. We are going over there to seek individuals in the country of Uganda that are like-minded like us, and ask them, what can we do to help you? And we have made connections with some Messianic groups who are just hungry for people to come over and teach them. And our agency is just open to us being able to go over there and share the feasts, share the truth of His Word, share how God has called us to obedience.
See, that to me, that is an amazing part of the story that I think really needs to get out, because so many organizations out there want you to hold to whatever doctrine that they've come from with their denominational background, and many of these organizations have. And so, but you're not doing that. You've got this open window where you can take things like the feast and the Shabbat and the true meaning of the gospel from our Messiah, and take that to the people who are there and help people on a one-on-one basis. And I think that's amazing. I think that is an amazing opportunity that people should get excited about that you're doing.
It is. What was amazing to us, we when we finished our training with Missionary Ventures, at the end they have a commissioning service, and one of the gentlemen there asked us, he said, would you care if we did a Shabbat service? David and I looked at each other like, are you kidding? Because we knew where our daughter was at that time and what they were doing, but we were still on the, I'm not sure about this page. We were
kind of on the, that's a nice thing. It's okay for them, but it's not required for us.
And we were still asking a lot of questions. In fact, we had talked to somebody that week during training as to, so because the gentleman had just found out that he was actually part Jewish, and so he has really been exploring this. And so we talked to him. Is this okay? Are they, is it a problem? And he was like, no, I don't see any problem with it at all. And so when he said, do you want to do a Shabbat service? We were like, sure, why not? And but looking back on it now, it's like, who can 3 years prior to coming into the knowledge of Torah say that we had a Shabbat service for our commissioning? That has to be Yahweh.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, all right. So go ahead and give your Facebook page out.
If you type zimmersforuganda.org, it'll take you right to our Facebook page. It's a very simple way to get to it. Right now, that's where it's linked to. But we have a Facebook page. It's also called Zimmers for Uganda. We share on that, what we're going through right now, what Yahweh's teaching us, where He's taking us. But right on the little banner bar of the page, there's a little button that says Sign Up, and you can just click on that. Give us your information. We'll put you on our mailing list. And there's also a place on there to indicate that, hey, we really feel that Yahweh has given us the message to support you. There's places on there for you to indicate your desire to support us. There's links right to our website or to the missions website, though you can just do it right through that. Or you can just request some information and we'll mail it to you. As long as we have your mailing address, we can get you a packet of information in the mail and get all that information out to you on how you can join us in praying for us, how you can join us in supporting our ministry financially, or how you can join us in actually coming alongside and serving on a mission team.
Very cool. So zimmersforuganda.org.
Yes.
Zimmersforuganda.org, or you can just go to Facebook, type in Zimmers for Uganda in the Facebook search, and it'll come up with your page and get into contact with you with all the information that they'll need. And so, folks, guys, there's a lot of fellowships out there who we've come out of the churches and we've come out of the mission field, so to speak, that we used to participate in, because some of those are run by denominational authorities. They have doctrines that they want you to adhere to. And so it seems like to me the Hebrew Roots movement, the Torah movement, the Messianic movement is kind of missionless at this point. I mean, we've come out away from all these groups that used to do that, and we're heavy into it. And, I think it's always good to be involved in missions right around your local area, but it's also good to find people who are involved in missions around the world and to support them and help them out when they need it. And so, guys, if you're interested, if you're a supporter, you watch my videos and you're looking, you have a heart for missions, you're looking for a missionary group to support, this is, I think, right up your alley. A Torah-based missionary team, husband and wife, who are going to be operating in Africa in the country of Uganda. And you guys can go there at zimmersforuganda.org or go to their Facebook, Zimmers for Uganda, and look them up, support them, and make a pledge to do a monthly support for these people so that they can continue the work and get over there. And then, even if you're interested, go over there and join them for a couple of weeks. That'd be great. I think that would be outstanding. That would be fun.
There, have a whole week's of open air crusades right out in the middle of a village, and it's a fantastic experience. If you've ever gone on a mission trip, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and if you've not, then it's really a life-changing experience.
We think it'd be real good ideas for you to come and teach them some like homesteading type things.
Yeah.
That would be great. I think that would be neat. So
they're already off grid. They need to know how to do it.
I think we can maybe work that out. Well, very cool. What were you going to say?
I said they're definitely off the grid.
Yeah, I know. And so, yeah, people think I'm crazy, but they don't realize that most of the world lives this way or a lot worse than this, you know. I think people over there would look at how I'm living off grid and be like, whoa, this is amazing.
You got running water now? Wow.
Yeah, I have gravity fed running water. Woohoo. So, yeah, I mean, I think people, I think people would really enjoy going over there for a mission trip. So, folks, if you're interested in that, you know how to look them up. Zimmers for Uganda. Check them out. If you have a heart for missions, this is your opportunity to either participate or help somebody else participate by looking them up and getting involved. So, all right. Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming on here. And if people have any comments or questions below, be sure you guys, David and Charity, to check the comments, because people may want to get a hold of you through the comments to this video. So maybe check that back and forth there every so often, just in case someone's trying to get a hold of you and they can't. Other than that, go to Facebook. They're on there, and zimmersforuganda.org. Anything else you guys want to say?
Nope. Thank you.
All right, guys. All right, we're going to leave it at that. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.